Hello everyone, and welcome back to the walkthrough through Dark Souls 3. So again, this walkthrough is going through the whole of Dark Souls 3, including the DLCs, and we're currently up to Irithyll and Anor Londo. I'm not going to talk too much this time, there are quite a few items again, but better just to get into it, and we'll get straight into finding them. Now, Irithyll can be a very annoying area, and as I've said before, we haven't done Sirius's questline, so we won't be able to do it there, but I will point out, if you have followed Sirius's questline, and you have not used a Pale Tongue, and you've got the Darkmean Loyalty Gesture, which I got from her already, then I'll show you where you can continue it, if you haven't followed that. Alright, let's get into it. So, straight down the staircase from the... I'm just going to mention this bonfire quick, just so you know where I'm at. So, after the High Lord Walnir, we've got up to Irithyll, the Boreal Valley bonfire. So from there, we're going to go down the staircase, we're going to go to the right. Now, this you can do a number of different ways, but I have a particular technique that I do every way, and generally it will work. But you need to have a decent damage weapon, and a fairly fast weapon as well for this. Well, it doesn't have to be fast, but I find it useful. So what you want to do is you want to run just far back enough that you see him appear, and then run ahead, and then wait for him to roar. As soon as he roars, you want to start swinging, and just get that head as many times as you can. He will typically stagger if you get the head enough times. I'm just going to try and show you the stagger, so I might get hit a couple of times. There we go, there's the stagger, and then you can riposte the beast. Again, use the head enough first to make him stagger, although I think I've done that with Sellsword Greatswords, and I've done that with an Ultra Greatsword. I would have thought this would work, but I guess it is Irithyll and I'm using a frost weapon, so that might be why we couldn't get enough damage to stagger him right there. What you want to do is you want to run across the bridge and you want to touch the bonfire. Now, this next showing you where Sirius's sign would normally be if you have, again, if you have not followed the Rosaria's fingers and offered Rosaria a Pale Tongue, then Sirius will appear in this area. It looks like I might be invaded. I can't rest to the bonfire, so we're just going to show you quick where that sign should be. Here's an item on the right hand side there. Pick up the Homeward Bone. There we go. We've got some guy called Game Over deciding he wants to invade me. Anyway, just pointing out where Sirius's sign would be, again, to this point on the bridge. Sirius's sign is about here. So once you've lit that bonfire, and then you can help Sirius fight Kraton on the bridge. So trigger a Kraton invasion a little bit later, and so I'll point out where that invasion... You can, if you're rewatching this video, skip this part of the invasion. I'm not going to be showing any items during the invasion. I don't know what this guy's doing, but... Bit of a PvP thing. I just generally watch my spacing. I'll wait for them to attack, and then I'll get behind them, try and backstab. If I have different weapons, I have different technique. With a straight sword, it's quite difficult, so you've really got to use your spacing well. This will inflict frost if I get enough times, so that's some of the good ways to defeat them. And if you do defeat a purple spirit, you will get the vertebra shackle. So I mentioned that before. One of the ways of getting vertebra shackles is actually killing invaders. I think I mentioned that, I might not have actually. Anyway. Up top there's an item here, large soul. And then across the other side of this area there will be another, I think it's a soul item, I don't remember. Yep. I thought there might have been one up here, but I don't think there is. No. Continuing on, as you come up this staircase, now this is going to be a dangerous area. I'm actually going to just equip my broadsword because it is Irithyll, and so my Irithyll frost weapon isn't going to be amazing. So there's another soul item up there, and then what you want to do is you want to take these guys on one at a time, and you want to get behind them as soon as possible. So hold up your shield, just strafe around to the back of them, and then they can't get you. If you're in front of them, they will just keep chasing you and hitting you down. So even if you're on low health, try and get behind them before you heal. This one you can kick the shield away. There is one on the right that's going to come at me. I try and kill this one first and then deal with the one on the right. Again, you've got to figure out what's the best technique for you. Up the staircase you can pick up a large Titanite shard and then continue on. So there will be a faith spell, sorry, miracle that we'll be picking up a little bit later. Not too far, so just mentioning that is going to be the next thing we pick up. Next important thing, shall I say. This area is really tricky. The easiest way to do it does take a bit of time, unfortunately, but I will show you sort of what I've found to be the easiest. So get that guy to use his lava attack where it comes up from the ground. And just try and deal with his attacks. So again, lava attack. Go far enough that the little slaves will follow you, and then get far enough away from the witch that his attacks can't hit you. And then try and bait their attacks, and you can usually hit 2 of them at a time. If you struggle with that, try and get 1 at a time. But yeah. So once you've killed them, that makes the fire witch a lot easier. Watch out for that lava up from the ground. As soon as he slams his staff into the ground, you're going to have lava come up towards you. So there's some more here, but there's another fire witch up top. Now, in this case, I actually deal with the fire witch first. I just run through past those guys. Turn right up here. Watch out again, he will be trying to hit you. Try and make sure you're on full health before you engage him. He does have like a slam attack where he hits the staff into you, the immolation tinder, and he picks you up with it and throws you, so do be wary of that if you're up close. So again, these slaves are going to follow me. I do have that Pontiff Knights just watching me at the moment, so I'm just a bit cautious of them. Trying to kill these guys so I don't have to deal with multiple at once. Okay, so hopefully we can get these guys 1 at a time. This guy's following me, so I'm going to make him follow me. Roll past that attack, get the backstab, and then finish him off really quickly because I know we're going to have the other one coming. And again, we want to try and get behind him for that backstab, and then finish him off. Up to the left here, we can get the crystal lizard. Make sure you get him before he runs away. So he should be dropping a twink for me. Thanks, buddy. Roll into this staircase. Now this is a secret, and if you come down to the left here, watch out for that guy. He's ready and willing to slash you again. Make sure you kill him before you do anything else here. And then we can pick up the large Titanite shard. Now this is where the miracle, it's actually a miracle that causes a lot of bleed damage. That comes from the evangelist down there, so we can drop down, we can backstab the evangelist, and then try and spam attack as he gets up, as she gets up, shall I say, and then just roll past any attacks, get more backstabs. It's not very hard to finish the evangelist stuff. We've had quite a bit of practice from the undead settlement. So there's a witch tree branch there, which is another staff that you can use. And then we're going to head back up the same way we came. Now, if you have managed to kill all the enemies along the way, that's going to make this trip a lot easier. If you haven't, what I recommend is getting the next bonfire first, and then coming back to that invisible area, just so that you've got the next bonfire to Homeward Bone back to. So up to the right here, there is an item on the left, and there is going to be an item on the right. Again, both just soul item and a large Titanite shard. Up the staircase, there's going to be a bonfire. I don't think there's any items to the left there. They may be. I don't think they are though. Nothing important at least. Pick up the bonfire, and we have Anri to the right as long as you've followed her questline through the catacombs.
Oh, you? Good to see you. I never managed to find Horace, but my duty must be done, even alone. As an unkindled Lord Seeker for the children I knew, bless their souls. We all have our reasons, don't we? Ah, you are brave indeed.
Anri's going to try and fight Aldrich,
Well to learn from you.
and she's sort of
May the flames guide your
quite upset that she doesn't know where Horace is, but she's still going to keep trying to fulfill her duty.
I would do well to learn. May the flames.
She's sort of using you as a role model now that you're doing it all alone, so maybe she can do it all alone. So proof of a Concord kept, those are really useful items in terms of the Covenant items that you can get for the Blades of the Dark Moon or Blue Sentinels. Again, you'll get rewards from Yorshka. We'll see Yorshka a little bit later, and you can get rewards from Yorkshire for enough proof of Concord kept. Now, if you're going to do Anri's good quest line, if you don't want her to die here, you need to kill this kill the assassin there. We actually have been doing the Lord of Hollows though, so we might... hopefully it's going to work. We might just leave the hollow there. So we need Anri to die here if we're going to do the Lord of Hollows ending, so I almost killed the hollow there. Hopefully that's going to be okay. I'm used to killing him, I'm used to not doing this Lord of Hollows, but it is the hardest one, that's why I want to show you it in this walkthrough. So there's an enemy here by the grave, and if you've done Sirius's questline, you will get invaded by Creighton as we come to the right. Pick up the Fading Soul, come over to the right here, and then we'll pick up another item. But before we get that one, we're just going to kill this Corvian over here. He's just at the grave, so pick up the Homeward Bones. Undead Bone Shard, making sure that stays on the screen for a little bit. Make sure you pick up the Undead Bone Shard there. Fading Soul. From there we can continue downwards. Finish him off. Finish the dogs. And rusted gold coin. Alright, heading back down this direction, we're going to... As a quick side note, you see all the messages up there, people have just come and decided to put them. They're mostly pointless. Over here we've got a... I don't even know what to call these guys. I think they're pretty much just the slave type enemies again. Now you can drop down to get the blue moss clump there. I'm going to be very quick in getting that because these guys can just all swarm on you. I actually don't even recommend killing them all. I would just get through this area. So roll through, go up the ladder. Again, if you're not interested in getting Yorshka's spear, you don't actually have to go up the ladder. You can just go straight through that area downstairs. But if you are interested, then you need to follow these directions. So there's a shriving stone on the beams. Watch out for these enemies. And then what we can do is we can head down this direction and drop down. You want to make sure you drop down on this bridge, this beam area here, because otherwise you won't be able to get Yoshka's spear. And that's the whole reason we came up top. So Yoshka Spear should remind you of Santia's Spear a little bit in Dark Souls 2. And you can pick that one up and then head down. From there, just, head through to the light area. Invisible enemies creep up on us here. Hold up your shields. Make sure when we hit them, there we go. I don't know why they're so far down that time, they're usually a bit higher. So again, using your shield is the easiest method on them. They can drop, I think, blood gems, typically. Oh no, blue bug pellet that time. Through here, hit the invisible wall, and you want to get the twink. And then you can come to the right, and there will be more enemies in each of these sections. So try and take them on before they all get up. Again, there's a couple more in that area that I'm just about to go into, but watch out for the one. Just swing in case there's any more. I don't think there's any more in there. There might be one in here. Don't remember. Okay, this guy, you can hit his friends. There's a friend on the left and the right first. So it's up to you, but I typically hit him first, roll out the way, and then get his friends. There's a blood gem there as well, which allows you to infuse your weapon with bleed. Plunge down on that spider lady and pick up the Ring of Sacrifice. Again, you can use your daggers to get through this area quicker. Roll it. From there, we're going to head to the right, and we can pick up Great Heal. So that's quite a useful healing spell. Healing miracle, should I say. Large soul there, and continue on to the right. Now Grey Rat at this point actually is willing to pillage from Irithyll. You want to make sure that you've done Patches and Sigurd's questline before you allow him to pillage, otherwise he will die in this area. I think you can do either or. I think you can do Sigurd's or Patches, or both. Both of them will potentially save Grey Rat in this area, but I recommend just doing both to be safe. Green blossoms there. Now, I don't recommend... oh, by the way, if you don't kill that Pontiff Beast, he will drop down here as well, so just beware of that. If you didn't kill him earlier, the big crocodile-looking thing. Pick up the green blossoms there. Now, there is another bonfire down that direction. If you're not worried about Sigurd's questline, if you're not worried about Grey Rat's questline, then you can potentially go down there first. But I always like to do sign and that before I go to Distant Manor, so that's known as the Distant Manor bonfire, and we will go and get that when we start doing the road to Yorm. Now the road to Yorm is potentially easier than this section to go through, because Pontiff is quite hard here, and you can level up quite a bit on the way to Yorm. So if you want to go Distant Manor, if you're not worried about NPCs, then I would recommend going down to now. But just trying to make sure we follow the NPC goal, we're going to head up towards Aldrich and Pontiff. So with these spider ladies, they have a couple of different attacks, but mostly if you just roll to the right past them, they can't do too much to you. They do have a little spam attack that they do, so I'm just going to try and show you that one. If they don't do it, they don't do it. But, I think generally if you stay close to them, it's just one to look out for. They'll sort of flail all their legs in all directions. They do have that vomit attack that you can move away from, but the flailing attack is actually quite dangerous. So I wanted to just show you one of those. No, he's not going to do it. She's not going to do it, shall I say. Alright, so that's all the items in this little section. All those up. There is a excrement covered ashes which we're going to pick up soon. So that'll allow pies from the important item in the game, so make sure you pick it up. It was a bit of sarcasm. I find it quite fun. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of point other than being able to do toxic. Which can be useful for the Gale fight, I will admit. But there are other ways of doing toxic, like Toxic Mist that we picked up from the Smouldering Lake. Estus Soup there if you need some healing, and then Sigurd will also give you some more. Now he's going to give us a miracle here as well.
It's rather warm in here. Well, hasn't it been all too long? It's good to see you. Oh, I seem to have missed my chance of... I, Siegwart of Katarina, offer my deepest gratitude and a little surprise to go. It's all yours. Won't you join me for dinner?
Emit Force Miracle, and the Force Miracle just allow you to sort of push people off ledges and that sort of thing.
Right now. Even we undead deserve a little normalcy from time to time. And finally, upon this rendezvous, let us make a toast. To your valor, my sword, and our sworn duties.
Sigurd used to be friends with Yorm, who's currently in control of the... Now, Yorm was a better person before, but he got consumed by the Profane Flame, and so now has a duty to go and defeat Yorm, because he has become so corrupted. So he's going to do it, but he really he doesn't want to.
Have you heard? Somewhere, hidden right here in Irithyll.
And he's talking about Irithyll Dungeon, which will lead down to where Yorm is.
And even below that.
Now Sigurd will actually get captured on the way, so we have to go and free Sigurd once we go down that direction.
I've a grave promise to keep. Oh, sorry. I'm afraid I've cast a cloud over things. Well, I'm going to have myself a little nap. The only thing to do, really, after a roast.
So Sigurd follows his typical procedure of having a toast and then having a sleep. Alright, now in this room we have one Black Knight which is an archer, a Silver Knight, and then we have another Silver Knight just dwindling over there. So we're going to take out and look at the painting, but just bear with me. We're just going to run behind here so we don't get hit by the archer. Now he will follow us behind, and then when he goes to attack, strafe around the back of him and backstab. And when he starts to get up, just spam attack. Now watch out, there is a frost pot there behind him, so don't stay too close to that. That'll cause frost damage. And frostbite, obviously. Those pots on the ground do emit frost every time. You get a Divine Blessing, quite useful to finish that Silver Knight off there. Now there's some more Silver Knights up here, so I recommend staying behind this pillar so you don't get shot from the left. Bait this guy's attention and then come behind the area again. And again, follow the technique of strafing around and backstabbing, and you shouldn't have too much problem. Now run quickly to this pillar so you don't get shot. And attract this guy's attention and he'll start using his sword. You can make him break that as well, which means frostbite damage will happen, but it does put you at risk as well. Spam attack up and that should be enough to finish him. And then what we can do is we can go around this area and we've got him up the back to pick up. So we've got the Leo Ring, which increases damage from thrust attacks. We have Smo's Great Hammer, and we have a, I think it's a Hidden Blessing. So Smo's Great Hammer should remind you of Dark Souls 1 if you played it, and Divine Blessing. Ah, so 2 Divine Blessings. I actually thought it was a Hidden Blessing. You can roll through those pots. They do cause frostbite if you hang around, but it is a quicker way to go back down the staircase. So we're back in the room where the archer was. We killed that archer, so we're going to head out to the left. From here, I don't think there's any items down there. I'm just going to go quickly check. I think there might be an item here. I just never get it. No, there isn't. Okay, up the staircase. We're going to be invaded by Londo Paleshade if we've angered him. I don't think we have. I think we've been following the Londo quest line, but you will get invaded by him. He has quite a few spam attacks, so just don't let him get up too close and do that. Try and keep him stun locked and then roll away. So we've got dogs here, and we've got the guys shooting the little magic spells at you. Be aware of that as they come towards you, and then once they hit the shield you can finish them off. There is that one sleeping around this side of the pillar, so I finish him off first and then I deal with the magician. Up to the right, watch out for that slave. He will be doing the exact same thing, so finish him off before we get pick up the large Titanite shard, and then we're going to take the shortcut back. Now just for completeness sake, I'm just going to show you where we are once we go up this shortcut, because I didn't point it out before. So you'll notice that this way was where those, so down that direction was where we hit the Titanite shard, and there was the Pontiff Knights. If we continue straight, then there is the bonfire in the Church of Yorshka up here. And there's Anri. Okay, Anri's now disappeared, so that's interesting because the assassin's still there. Anyway, let's continue down this direction, and we're going to head back through the shortcut. You can rest at the bonfire if you need to, but I'm not, just because then enemies won't reset. We will do that area on the left in a little bit, but we'll do it once we come back out in shortcut. So these shortcuts are the ones that are leading up to Pontiff boss fight. Don't think there's any items on the right there, I was just checking for completeness sake. And then on the left we can drop down, and there is now the reason I drop down and go up this way is because then you're hitting all these enemies up top from the back. So we're going to go up the ladder, and there's going to be 3 enemies on our right that we're going to deal with straight away. Now you can just go out that door and head towards Pontiff, but if you want to get the all the items here, there is one more item just down this direction. I'm just going to show you that there's heaps of invis that we can deal with here. So just saves them from sneaking up on you, and then we can grab that item. I think there's a couple more invisible guards. Them. What we can do now is we can head up the way that I was going. Again, blue bug pellets do protect you from frost. Soul item there. He will cast a frost attack sometimes, which is like a blue circle around him. If you can backstab him and do it before you cast that, it's good. Otherwise, stay out of the path of it and then come in and attack him after. This guy, you can just kick his shield away and riposte. I failed to get the riposte, but at least you got the technique. Actually looks like the one for the boss fight. But we're not going to do summons, we're just going to show you the technique. So watch out for these slaves again. And to the left we can pick up an imp. Now I have left an item that you can get up top. The reason I do that is because we want to open this shortcut first, and we'll go and get that item in a second. But first we need to get all the items in this location, so let's pick up the Weary Warrior Soul. Now to the right there's going to be the bonfire just in that room again, so again this is another shortcut back to that bonfire, so you can rest there. Now there's a Fire Witch just below us, so we can actually plunge attack on him, and then if you get a couple of attacks in, that should finish him off. And then to the right here, we do have another Pontiff Knight to the left, so just watch out for that. And behind them and backstab is the easiest method. They do have quite a few dangerous attacks. If he does use a shield, just kick it away and riposte. lightning gem there. And nothing around the back because that's a new game. We're not dealing with any of the new game items. Now that item we're about to go and get, but first of all we just need to get the magic clutch ring. There are some enemies down to my right. You can fight them. I'm just going to try and avoid them for the sake of this walkthrough. So magic clutch ring there that we just picked up. You have to go wall and yep, it helps you deal magic, but or crystal weapons, but the disadvantage of that is you take more damage as well. So just dropping down from up top, you can pick up the Ring of the Sun's Firstborn. That allows you to deal a lot more damage with miracles, so it is a useful item. Now just for safety's sake, we're just going to go back to the bonfire now, and then we'll head up to Pontiff. Now, Pontiff is a boss that is made a lot easier with parries, but especially if you're new to the game, it is quite hard to get those parries. So I'm going to show you a method that doesn't involve parries, but just involves sort of strafing around him and staying in a particular spot to avoid most of his attacks. This is a battle that is quite hard though, especially if you aren't used to his moveset. So we're going to get Pontiff triggered. Now the perfect roll through this attack though, and you just rotate by his blue sword side, so just stay on the side of his blue sword. You'll see that he mostly will miss me. You will have a couple of attacks though, and then stay fixed to his blue sword. So you'll see that it's not too hard if you stay close to him, but you'll notice that as the battle progresses I'll probably struggle to maintain that technique. You do want a fairly fast weapon for this battle. He does attack pretty quickly, which doesn't give you too much time for recovery and healing. Watch out for that charge attack that he does with the blue sword. So you want to get sort of, again, by his blue sword before you heal. If you try and heal too much when you're far away from him, you will get quite a bit of damage dealt to you. Sort of negates the heal. Okay, so he's going to summon a clone now. What you want to do is you want to wait for that clone to appear, and then you want to get as much damage in as you can just to try and finish the clone off as soon as possible. If you can't finish him off, just get back, and if you can avoid the attacks and then get retaliation on that clone, that's the best way. Now you only have Pontiff to deal with again. Try and roll through that attack. I sort of missed the timing on it slightly. But again, I'm trying to stay attached to his blue sword side and hold up your shield if you got one. Again, he's going to summon the clone again, so wait for the clone to spawn, get those couple of attacks in, finished off Pontiff. And again, make sure you have Symbol of Avarice and Shield of Want equipped. We don't have the Mendicant Staff yet, so we can't equip that one yet. Okay, so that's Pontiff done. Now we're going to head towards Aldrich. You've got to be pretty close to lizards. So what we're going to do is we're going to run off the edge, jump down and go for one of those lizards. I'm going to go for the left one first. Focus on that lizard, use a jumping attack, get one hit on him and run for the other lizard. Again, I've just lost the other lizard. That will typically happen unless very quick running or someone to help you. Very difficult to get that. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the bonfire last rest of that. And that'll mean that the crystal lizard will reappear, and so we can get that other twink. I think saving and quitting the game will do the same thing, so if you want to save a homeward bone, you can do that. Now this area is known to be the biggest invasion area. If you use a dried finger here, you'll get invaded so much that you can barely even get a chance to go to the bonfire if you're at the right sort of level. 120 to 150 is sort of your meta level where most of the invade you. So just keep that in mind. I'll pause it here, so we might have to take a short break from the walkthrough. We'll see. Alright, so in this area there are some giants. There's 2 giants down the other end there. One there and one to the left that's lying down. So we're not going to actually get all the items in this section yet. We're going to kill the giants and the mages first for those items. Through this archway area you can kill these guys here that will try and attack you, same as all the rest have been. There's the one with the magic, the rest with sort of daggered. Dark stone plate ring there, that offers you some protection from dark attacks. And as I said, they can drop blood gems, random chance of that. Continuing to the right, this is the quickest way up to the mages, so we're going to go and deal with the deacons up here. There is a section, you'll see there's a section just through there. There's also an item down this direction, so I'll just show you this item first. You might want to kill the deacons first so that you don't have to deal with their fireballs. But there's a large Titanite shard just there. Sort of there, so I just wanted to get it done. So again, you can just run left or right to avoid these deacons' attacks. They're really not too hard, unless you're actually trying to attack a deacon, in which case, as you see, I'll get hit. Backstabbing is quite a easy technique on them, but it does take a bit of time, so it really is up to you if you want to backstab or just spam attack. I'll show you the spam attack on this one. Both work fairly efficiently. And if you got an ultra great sword, you can often kill them in one hit. Now these have the chance of dropping human dregs. Now we haven't actually got the covenant which we need to redeem those human dregs yet, but that's the Aldrich Faithful covenant. So that's obviously tied to the next boss that we're going to go fight, Aldrich. Same as the Abyss Watchers were, Aldrich is one of the 4 Lords of Cinder. And we're going to be taking on Yorm in probably the next walkthrough, and he's the Cinder. There is one final Lord of Cinder though, which we'll get to after we've killed all the main lords and possibly done the DLC, not the DLCs, the extra parts, sort of optional parts of the game. So these dranks, I sort of roll back from and then just spam attack on them. That's sort of the most brain dead technique that you need for them. And he'll drop the Drank Twin Spears. I don't think he'll drop anything. Just a note for if you're doing PvP, that area there will be Silver Knights that shoot down towards you, and up top there as well you'll often get plunged on by people who try and invade you. So just keep those areas in mind if you're doing PvP. Player versus player, for those of you who don't know what PvP stands for. There's an ember there. We can then kill this giant on the left. I find hitting his left hand to be the easiest method. Usually that will cause him to stagger a bit. Now if get behind him, because he'll do a whole chain of attacks, but once he finishes the chain you can just get in front of him and get a riposte on his head. An ember there as well. Get this guy in the head as soon as you can. That'll cause him to stagger, and you can then riposte him straight away. Okay, just make sure you've got all the items down by the giants here. So there should be this one, and there's going to be another one up to the right here. And then, now we can go down that direction, but we're going to go and get the golden ritual spear from the Mimic. And we're going to go and get Simple Gem as well. So there's two things that are upstairs in the Pontiff area, and there's a shortcut up here as well. So we're just going to go and get those before we continue. So coming back up the stairs that we killed the deacons with, and if you head in this direction, now again, if you head here, you can't, if you have been invaded, you won't be able to get in this area. You will have a fog door in your way, so just keep an eye on that. I don't know why people have put messages here, to be honest. I think it's just troll, yeah, just troll messages. Now you see that's the bonfire where Pontiff was, so you can send that elevator down. You can go down there as well if you want to rest. Other than that, we can come across this staircase and down the other one. And then to our left here, we have a crystal lizard. He'll drop the simple gem that I was telling you about. And then across the bridge to the mimic. So we're just going to have to fight this one the conventional way. Basically, you just try and get behind him and roll out the way of any grab. And there we go, he's dropped the golden ritual spear. So that's all of the main items for this section. We're now going to head up towards Irithyll and Anor Londo. So there's going to be an invisible wall in this next section. It's just to the left as we come in. Hit that wall and we can go down. Now again, we're going to have to deal with some more of the Sullivan's beasts. Pontiff's beasts. Crocodile looking things. So easiest way to do this, if you've got a bow you can want to fight. If you don't, it's easier to fight this left one. So just behind one of his legs, and I'll roll that. So again, behind legs, and as he tries to turn around and attack you, get back again. The reason I stay by one of the back legs is because he does that breath, and so that gives you a chance to get quite a hit with him. They are very dangerous though. When they do get hits on you, it does a lot of damage. You can see I play it fairly cautious. Again, watch that lightning breath. If you're in front of him, you'll get quite a bit of damage dealt to you. Don't get too close to the rib cage. It will kind of stagger you. One of them. Now I'm going to try the stagger technique on the next one again. It is a lot harder on these guys because they're a lot less predictable than that first one. And I couldn't quite get far enough towards the head, so it's hard to get those hits in. Get away from that lightning, and then I'm going to try and get some hits in the head. If you go to the left, less likely to get hit. we go, we've got the Ring of Favour, and now we can get human dregs. Again, I recommend a fairly fast weapon for them, because if you're trying to swing an ultra great sword and avoid their attacks, it's very difficult. So over here we have the Eldritch Faithful Covenant. That's the one I was saying that you need human dregs for. So you can ask to join it. It doesn't affect anything if you just join it. And you can swap between covenants at any point, so you'll see, if I look in my menus now, I have the option to go Warrior of Sunlight, Way of Blue, Blue Sentinels, Rosaria's Fingers, Mound Makers, Watchdogs, or Eldritch Faithful. So there's your water reserve bonfire. Again, if you need to rest there, you're welcome to. If you do rest, those will reset. Other than obviously the Drang enemies, and the Silver Knights in that previous area as well, they didn't respawn, although these ones will every time you rest. I'm actually very surprised that we haven't been invaded during this walkthrough. I mean, we did get invaded earlier, but in terms of the most common invasion area, which is this one, very surprising we haven't been invaded. At the top of the staircase, turn to the left, and on the corner here, your Titanite scale. Use it for upgrading boss weapons, or even like the Holostay greatsword that we got. Again, corner here, you're going to get a large Titanite shard. Now, as we come up this next section, hold up your shield, and stay to the other side of the pillar, use easily. I just tend to run up as quick as possible, and typically by those arrows it's very hard to keep an eye on the archers and run up at the same time. You'll notice my technique with the Silver Knights is always just a backstab and then a spam attack, and it works amazingly on them. Oh, I did get hit by that. Now there is another archer behind me that is shooting, but I find it easier just to get this guy up and get rid of him before I deal with the other one. And Silver Knights, a lot of invaders will just keep running up to the Silver Knights and trying to lead you up there. I would recommend not following them, because trying to kill these guys on their own is pretty annoying. Trying to kill them with invaders is very, very difficult. You can actually backstab these guys and sort of hit them off the edge. You will lose the items for it though. Before we continue on, we're just going to come down this path where we went up, and down the staircase, just past it, you can get the Easterner's Ashes. So that allows you to get Eastern Armor, which is quite a nice armor set, I must say. And it also allows you to get large Titanite shards from the Handmaid. Same as the Dream Chaser's Ashes that we got in Farron Keep. Those allow you to get the typical tuds from the Handmaid. Here to the right, just watch out for the bowman, so hold your shield up as you may get hit. I roll out the way as well. Again, try and strafe behind him or roll behind him. Depends on what attacks he does. There we go. Shortcut that we can unlock down here. So before I get the one item, I'm just going to unlock the shortcut. I tend to not unlock it for PvP, just for the purposes of having invaders being able to traverse the map as easily. Same as I don't unlock that hidden door to the Sylvan's beasts. But obviously, for the purpose of the tutorial, I'll definitely be unlocking all the shortcuts. Around the back here, I think there is an item. Large Titanite shard. And then we can head down the ladder here. And you can open the shortcut. Now you'll notice the area that The elevator came up from Pontiff. It's just there. So that's your bonfire area. And then there's this shortcut that'll take you directly up again, which is quite cool. Although you still have to fight the Silver Knights, so it's not a perfect shortcut, but it is useful. Very rarely use it though. I usually just go past the Silver Knights the normal way and don't bother. Dropping down to the right though, you can pick up the Dragon Slayer bow, I'm pretty sure. Dragon Slayer great bow. It is quite a powerful great bow, and you get some great arrows with it as well, so that's quite nice. Again, dropping. We're going to head back up that shortcut. Still have quite a few Estus, so I'm not worried about going and resting at the bonfire. Continuing up to the left, there is a hidden door that we're going to be hitting. You should recognize it from Dark Souls. I'll try not to give you too many spoilers as to what the Dark Souls actually reveals it. So this area to the right, you can hit the statue. And then down to the left here, we have the brass set. Again, should be ringing some bells related to Dark Souls 1. Now this is the area where we'll probably be coming back to if we're doing the Lord of, because if Anri has died and you talk to Yuria, she'll tell you that she's ready to be married, and so you'll actually come here and stick a blade of a vow in her face, which is amazing. So you pick up a reversal ring there, which allows you to do actions of the opposite gender. And yeah, if you stick that sort of vow in her face, you get 3 dark sigils again, and that progresses your Londo quest line so that you can get the ending, which is sort of the one that most people don't know how to get, because it takes quite a few things to actually get it, whereas the other 2 endings don't take as much. You through the other 2 endings, but we're just doing the Lord of Hollows as I said. It's sort of the most convoluted one. So once we pull that lever, we can go up this spiral staircase. Push the lever again to keep going up. Now there is a secret that you may or may not know about just on the staircase. We'll show you that once we've got the Anor Londo bonfire. And as I've just sort of revealed, this area is Anor Londo, so throwback directly to one. But there have been some changes. I'm not going to spoil that for you just yet either, but then you know, it's not the it's not exactly the same as Dark Souls 1. Some things have happened over time. Okay, so this is the other secret. You can actually go across this invisible bridge. Just take a second to appreciate the amazing view and the fact that we are standing on nothing. So you just run straight ahead and you can drop down to the right here. And there's another bonfire. Now this is where Yorshka is.
Name thyself, I am Yorshka.
And so if you've got the Dark Moon Loyalty gesture from Sirius, then that allows you to perform that here, and you can join the Blades of the Dark Moon.
Very well. Captain to this
Blades of the Dark Moon is very similar to Blue Sentinels, but I think you're able to get a proof of a con called Well Kept for killing a certain type of invader. Can't remember exactly how it works, but as I said, it's slightly different. The Fextra Life wiki that is up on, if you just search up Fextra Life, it'll come up with Dark Souls 3 wiki, and that'll tell you exactly what the difference is between those 2 covenants.
Then I place thee under the aegis and the power of the dark moon.
And you can see that Yorshka here has a tail and sort of is a bit scaly, similar to Priscilla.
Swear this oath and face thy solemn.
So Priscilla's from Dark Souls 1. You're not sure of that reference.
If I can provide thee succor, only tell me how.
There's quite an interesting bit of dialogue here if you talk further.
Lamenting the
He talks about Gwyn. I'm not really mentioning that too much, but it's just talking about the fire linking. That's lore to do with the endings.
And so the Dark Moon Knights took arms to watch over those. But long ago, our company lost. Only its covenant was preserved. Heirdom taketh many forms.
Anyway, if we talk again, she asks how you got to this prison, because it's solitary and there's no like where to get here. So how did you get here?
Art thou a creature of the air?
Are you a bird or something? Are you a creature of the air? So you can choose either one. She sort of says, how stupid of me if you say no. If you say yes, it's quite amusing.
So. Then thou art a dragon?
Are you a dragon or a crow?
Well, whatever thou beest.
Well, you're strange, but strangely familiar.
Off so soon, may the...
Anyway. We should get on with the walkthrough rather than talking to everyone for too long. But it is cool. I do like to have that bit of the NPC in the walkthrough, because if you are interested in a bit more of the story behind Dark Souls 3, because there is very little, there's lots in the lore, but in terms of actual like guided story, it's only really the NPCs that tell you much. So there's the curved swords, Painted Guardian curved sword. Again, if you've done Dark Souls 1, you should remember the Painted Guardians from Anor Londo. And they're set here as well. Now when we do the DLCs, we will actually come across some Painted Guardians, but we won't come across any in Anor Londo here. And there's nothing else further down, so you can actually just homeward bone here if you want to, and even go to the Shrine Bonfire and level up and then come back. And I'd come back to the Anor Londo Bonfire, not this one, because all this one connects to is the Church of Yorshka down below. So as you can see, we're back at the Church of Yorshka. Now I'm just going to travel back to Firelink and just check if you have any dialogue for us, because Anri should have been killed there if we didn't kill the assassin. But we may have messed up getting that ending, and if so, I will tell you any other steps that you need to do. I did already tell you where once we've talked to Uria here, so we'll find out. We'll see.
Speak, honourable. Oh, good hollow. Orbeck of Vinheim is a cause of much.
Yep. Yeah, so Uria is a bit worried about Orbeck. Now, if you actually, you don't have to do anything to do with Orbeck to become Lord of Hollows, but if you want the Morion Blade, you then need to kill Orbeck and give his ashes to Uria, or you can wait for Orbeck to die if you progress his questline fully, and then get the ashes to Uria for the Morion Blade.
Knowest thou of a she is hollow? A fellow of mine guides her at this. For what lord taketh no spouse? Ah, good tidings.
So, okay, there we go. Yep, so we have progressed the questline well enough, and so they say thy spouse is ready, and you can greet her, and she's in the Darkwind Chamber at Anor Londo. So we're going to head back there in a second. Before we head back there, though, we haven't actually continued Patch's questline. We haven't actually got his gesture yet, and we don't want to do Grey Rat's questline until we've got both Patch's and Siegward. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and get Patch's now. Also, we haven't progressed Hawkwood's questline, so if we talk to him here, he will be a bit upset about how the Abyss Watchers were returned to their thrones, but he does thank you and gives you the Farron ring.
I pity the sorry.
And that's pretty much all his dialogue for now. We will come across him a little bit later again though. But yeah, the Farron Ring is an interesting one. It just trying to remember exactly what it does. Quite interesting in terms of FP. So it reduces the amount of consumption for the weapon art. So you see here, if I use left trigger and then press right bumper, I use a bit of FP, that blue bar that you use for magic as well. So it actually reduces the FP that you use when you use a weapon skill. So you saw that tower was locked. So what we're going to do is we're now going to go to the Shrine Handmaid. Now we can have done that a lot earlier, but I've just left it up until this point because it's not hugely a concern when you do it. You can talk to Igon again here. I think we've already yeah, we already talked to him. Anyway, talk to the handmaid, and what we'll do is we'll get the tower key. So that costs 20,000 souls. What I might do as well is just with the Firekeeper. Got quite a few souls sitting there. Just going to leave myself with a few souls because I might be upgrading my weapon. See how many Twinkling Titanites we've got. We've got 7 Twinkling Titanites, so we still need 1 more to upgrade our Irithyll Straight Sword. Okay, so now what we can do is we can head back up the staircase, up to the tower. Sometimes you'll have this, sometimes you just have to wait for the fog door to go away. And once you've done this a little bit, we will actually have patches appear in that area. If you've been invaded, you are likely to get a sentry. There is a chance of getting that. You can trade that with the crows for one of Solaire's items, or we can actually use that to turn enemies against invaders. So at the moment we're just going up the stairs to get patches. So what's going to happen now that we've got the tower key, is you'll notice that this gate is already open. And so we'll go up the elevator. And keep looking down, because what you're going to see is going to close behind now, and so that indicates that we have progressed. Well, we haven't progressed Patch's quest line, but we've bought the tower key, and we've got far enough in the game that Patches will now appear. So the Firekeeper soul you can use to reverse hollowing if you choose to. Because we're going for the Lord of Hollows ending, we're not going to worry with reverse.
Sorry, friend. Be more careful. By the gods, curiosity is going to kill you kittens. Some places are better left alone, you know. Oh, sorry. Am I a tad too late?
So Patches has closed the door behind us.
There's beauty in death. Besides, you're surrounded by ladies. Every man's dream, right? Oh, no matter. I'll look after things.
You don't have to talk through Patch's dialogue here, I just find it interesting.
Some lucky customer very happy.
He seems very, very proud of himself, but there is a way to do that. Now, you can drop down, if you're worried about it, you can drop down onto, you can see there's a ledge just down there that you can drop down onto. If you're willing to risk it though, you can come run up. So see them here, you want to stay sort of in line with this line, and we're going to run and just roll off the edge. And if you get it correctly, you'll be able to pick up the Firekeeper set there. If you didn't do it correctly, you'll have happen what just happened there, and unfortunately we didn't quite make it properly. But you are able to run and roll off the edge. Sometimes jumping works, but it's very precise. If you are slightly off, you won't be able to get the Firekeeper robes just from that tower. So just to show you the bottom of the tower, you can just ring as well in that tower. So just once this loads for me, sometimes you can actually glitch through it. I'll see if I can glitch through it. Once it's loaded enough, you can sort of roll through. Okay. So up to the right is where the tower comes down to, so where we were up by power. And you can get the Estus ring from inside there as well. So it doesn't open from that side, so you will have to roll down the ledges, but you can see there is the Estus ring. So if you roll down the ledges in that tower, you can get the Estus ring. And now that we've done that bit with Patches, he's going to appear in Firelink Shrine. So we're going to head back into Firelink. And then up to the right again. And Patches is now going to be here. And so if you've got Patches or Sigurd, it'll mean that Grey Rat doesn't die in Irithyll Valley, so that's why we're going to go and talk to him here.
Now, hold your horses. Let's have a nice talk about this. I'll come clean. I did you wrong. I didn't mean it, though. Not one bit. You get these urges, running the business and all, and I hate myself for it. I do. You know what I mean. Terrible.
So proud of himself earlier, but so,
But I can see you're forgiving.
so, you know, genuinely concerned at the
After
moment.
all. And that's what counts, right?
If you do not forgive him, you will get, so on the sheer basis of getting as many items as possible, I'm just going to go do not forgive him.
For heaven's sake, no need to jest with a face like that. You're still alive, and I'm here in the dirt, so to speak. Oh, I know. Here, a token of mercy. Right and proper, huh?
So you'll get the rusted gold
They're just
coin,
a couple of outcasts. Let's make the best of it.
and then you can purchase items from Patches here, such as the black fire bombs, which are really useful. And you can get rusted coins from him as well, which increase item discovery, so that can be quite useful. And if you didn't get him at the cleansing chapel, you can get Sigurd's set here, the Katarina armor, as well as Patches set. And if you don't have enough red bug pellets, we'll need them for Lothric Castle. You can get them here as well.
Can't find anything you like.
What we're going to do now is just going to quickly area, because what's going to happen then is Patches is actually going to be squatting, and so we can get the Patches squat gesture from him. You can get that later in a DLC as well, but I don't want to spoil that too much. So once we've talked to Patches again, we're going to go and talk to Grey Rat, because he's then going to go and pillage Irithyll for us, and he will be safe this time because we've got Patches and we've got Sigurd. So there's the Patches squat gesture,
We made good of things.
and he does mention Grey Rat here as well.
Slinking rodent. But he did me a good turn back in Lothric Dungeon. Doubtless I should do something about that little dead. Well, maybe not. Well, I can hardly believe he's still standing.
And then now what we're going to do is talk to Grey Rat, and then we're going to head back to Anor Londo. We do need to still do Anri before we head to Outlook, so we're going to go and do that. So talking to Grey Rat.
Oh, hello. Fine work. Discovering Irithyll in the Boreal Valley, all in a day's work. If the tales are true, it is home to old moon-worshipping nobles, and should be packed with treasure. What do you think? Shall I go and see what I can find?
As I've said before, don't do this unless you have both Patches and Sigurd, or at least one or the other.
A fine choice. I am Grey Rat the Thief. What I bring back will be worthy of that name. Goodbye. I will leave.
Okay, so we have talked to Yuria, and she's indicated that Anri is ready for the marriage, so we're going to head to Anor Londo, and we're going to go do that, and then we're going to head up to Aldrich. I do recommend following Anri's quest all the way through to Church of Yorshka, even if you're doing the Lord of Hollows ending though, because I have had an instance before where I only got Anri up to, I think, Catacombs, and then I think I I think she died because she went in search of Hodrick there, and I hadn't killed him. And so she ends up dying there, and that just didn't seem to progress, so strange. But yeah, get her to Church of Yorshka, and that's the most, as long as you don't kill the assassin, that's the easiest way of doing it. Sorry, to get to Darkmoon Tomb we actually need to press the lever. I just forgot that for a second. So we just need to head back down. Oh. So now we're going to find the assassin just to the left here. After we've done the marriage, we'll be able to come back and get the chameleon spell from him, which allows you to turn into an object that's in the area and sort of hide from invaders and that sort of thing.
Awaits you. You are very near. Please take the sword of avowal. May you be the truest lord of Londo yet.
So we got the sword of avowal, and now we can head to Anri. You'll see that she's been laid down in this area and ready for the marriage ceremony as such. It does seem super disgusting, this Church of Londo, and the way they do everything. But apparently you actually remove Anri's hollowing from this, so that's what one person has suggested. So there are different takes. Again, Dark Souls is a game where you can really interpret the lore in the way that you choose in a lot of ways. I personally don't usually choose this ending. I prefer the End of Fire ending. But as I said, this is the most convoluted one to progress. And easiest to mess up. So we can see we're absorbing the dark sigils from Anri there. So that allows you to become hollowed more quickly. Okay, quickest way, let's just head straight back to Anor Londo. And there is an Estus shard in Anor Londo, so make sure that you do pick that one up. I will be showing you where that is. There are some moonlight arrows and a couple of other things in there as well as a spider that will drop a ruby for us. Alright, so we have two silver knights that are going to come down the staircase. One's going to charge at us straight away. So to charge, if you stand roughly here, he'll charge. You can roll behind him and get that backstab. I slightly missed the backstab there. If you hold the shield up for too long, you can do a shield kick as well. And the quicker you kill them, the easier it is. Two coming at you. Just on health. That was kind of embarrassing. So again, backstab method, you can just spam attack this thing up, and as I said before, knights are the ones that you can hit the early on when they're getting up, whereas most enemies you've got to wait for them to get sort of halfway up before you can start hitting them. So again, just strafe around these attacks and then you can backstab. For some reason I'm just not getting my backstabs at the moment. I was earlier. Here we go. This guy just does not want to be backstabbed. Alright. Down the staircase you can get a soul of a crestfallen knight. So again, another big soul. One that is... And then there's another soul item as we come down to the left here. No more items to the left, so we're going to go just to the right. And we're going to pick up the Giant's Coal, and it allows you to get sort of chaos infused weapons, and I think lightning infusion as well. So that is a really useful coal, especially if you're going to go for a... Keep following the staircase up, and then to the left we're going to have some deacons. Just roll through their fireballs, so roll, roll, and roll again. Does get quite frustrating if you do start getting hit by them, because once you get hit by one, you're likely to get hit by all three. And backstabs are the easiest on these guys. Grab the Proof of the Concord Kept, that's the Covenant item for Blue Sentinels or Blades of the Dark Moon. And then I don't actually go down the staircase, I just drop down this way and grab the Estus shards straight away. And then straight from there you will have that spider drop down, so as soon as possible. Means that you cut back to the bonfire and back to the huge staircase. Now I'm going to show you the cheese method spider. I showed you the way to make them stagger last time. This time I'm going to show you the easy method. So let's get his attention. Come over here, Spidey. And just make him follow you all the way down the staircase. He should do. Being a little bit worried at the moment. Come on, buddy. There we go. He will try and jump on you at points. Oh, we probably should have the staircase up. He can't hit me while I pull the lever, at least. But he can't come past that area. So what you can do is you can wait for him to try and come past, and then you can firebomb him. I don't actually think I have enough firebombs, to be honest. But you're completely safe here, so anything that you've got, I mean, even if I've got, let's say, kukris or throwing knives, we can equip those. Let's equip some kukris. Actually did get a stagger just from the kukris. And there we go, Eldric's Ruby. There are some moonlight arrows further up, so we're just going to rest at the bonfire and then we're going to head and kill Eldric. Probably shouldn't have picked that Titanite shard up. I forgot about the Silver Knights there for a second. So as you can see, there's the moonlight arrows up to the right, so we're just going to avoid the avoid the firebombs. Not a very good avoidance. And pick up the moonlight arrows, and then we'll head to Eldric. Now I wouldn't even worry with killing these deacons, I'd just go straight into the Eldric fight. I would recommend any fire resin that you have. If we have any... don't actually have any fire resin. That's okay, we'll just use our frost. It's not, but we're going to use our frost weapon against him. Alright, so this might be a bit of a long battle, but it should give you a good tutorial on it. Basically, he will just sort of like flail around a little bit with his attacks. He does take quite a long time over each attack. And then he'll do a little teleport. You really got to watch out for things like his arrows. And you can stop those with Vow of Denial, the spell, or Twisted Wall of Light will protect you from them. Well, what I generally do is just roll behind him and hit his tail. It's the easiest thing to get, and it will protect you from when he does his little teleport. Because So if you get within that radius, the AoE part of the teleport, it will do a fair bit of damage. You can use these pillars a little bit to get away spells, and you can also just roll to the left or right. If you spam roll left or right, you generally will avoid them. We might actually just keep going with our broadsword. Not getting too much damage from that. If we might just use some gold pine resin. Obviously, as I said before, fire is best on him, but if all you've got is gold pine, you've got a weapon that isn't lightning infused or infused with something that means you can't use the resin, then I recommend using it. Again, get behind him, get his tail. Don't even have to worry about his attacks too much, as long as you stay by the tail. So there, at about that point in his health, he will enter second phase, which involves the fire AoE around him. Not too much, the strategy doesn't change, more that if he now uses arrows, you need to run like mad, and we'll probably end up having to deal with an arrow attack. Life Hunt Scythe, you want to roll just as he's doing the scythe. He will heal if he hits you with that one, that you want to try and avoid. Again, spam each time now, because if he's in second phase, he puts those magic things up every time he teleports, which does get a bit annoying. Try and get behind him. I'm really struggling a little bit to get that. Again, we're going to have to deal with those magic now, so roll left to right. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't done an arrow attack. It would be useful to demonstrate one. Basically, you're running away. So if this is an arrow attack, I'm running away behind the pillars and just getting as far away as... Oh, there we go. So as he does the arrow attack, get up close and then run away. And so just get behind those pillars and run left to right just to avoid it. Sometimes the problem is you've got to try and avoid his magic as well. So can get quite tricky. His magic will go through the pillars. And you want to stay up close with Eldrick. You don't want to ever get him into just a magic spam. Notice my lightning resin's run out, so if you do have other resin, you could equip it now. I don't have anything equipped, so I'm just going to have to deal with what we've got. And that's our... So again, that was quite a close battle. He can be really annoying, especially if you do him before you do Yorm, so doing the NPCs the right way around can be a little bit tricky if you don't have the right weapons. Holosay Greatsword would have probably worked a bit better on him, but I haven't really enough. So there's our bonfire, and then to the right here there's a lift that we can take up. Now you can always come back and take this up a little bit later, but I'm just going to show you what's up here first, because we still need to do Leonhard's quest, which we're going to do now. Sun Princess Ring, and so that regenerates your health over time, which can be quite useful. Slow regeneration. Especially if you're out of Estus and you just want to sort of run away and get that little bit of health up. You can use something like Blessed Weapon, Blessed Shield, Sun Princess Ring, and even like a Faith spell that also regenerates over time, and you can get a decent amount of regeneration happening if you've got all those things on. Anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to just check that Leonhard. So again, Hawkwood's now travelled away from Firelink. We've progressed his quest most of the way. Leonhard, we've talked to him as much as possible, so he's progressed as well. Ludleth is just a matter of... we'll talk to him a little bit later, but there's no sort of huge quest line to do with him. He just mentions the Firekeeper and Anri. And just checking on the other guys. Orbeck we don't have any more scrolls for. I don't think we have anything for Irina. Cornyx is just the tomes. We might have a pyromantic tome for Cornyx. We might just check on that. So again, after each boss, it's wise just to come back here and see if you've got anything. So yep, we have some pyromancy tomes. And he won't take any of 2 of those tomes. Those will need to go to Kala later on. Some of the good ones that I've found to be useful. Great Chaos Fire Orb is quite a good damage one. Chaos Storm is if you've got lots of enemies around you. Poison Mist can be useful for poisoning enemies, same as Toxic Mist. We should have picked up Toxic Mist from the... We should have picked up Toxic Mist. Oh, we've got that in our inventory, that's right. From Smouldering Lake. And then Flash Sweat can be useful for Smouldering Lake as well. You can use that to get through some of the lava.
Do not be gone for long.
We're just going to level up again. And then we're going to go do Leonhard. Level up the Hollow Ogre, it's quite good as well. So just do that quickly. Picked up too many weapons. Hollow Slayer, there we go. So we're not quite able to get to +3 just yet. We'll get some more skills when we go down by Yorm. So to progress Leonhard's quests, we need to actually go to Rosaria's chamber. The reason I do Leonhard's quest now is because you have to have killed Aldrich to play. So I think we need to talk to Leonhard here.
So you've chosen to serve Rosaria after. She will be pleased with me for finding her another finger. But be warned, my friend. Rosaria's fingers need only fetch tongues for their mistress. Otherwise, we are free, unchained. Like Yellow, you can choose to believe that all fingers share camaraderie. But do not force your romance upon the rest of us.
So he's indicating there that he's not going to be friends with the other fingers, really.
Fetch tongues for their miss. Otherwise, you are free to not.
So we should be able to judge the area if I'm correct. I don't think resting the bonfire is going to be enough. I think we're going to have to use a homeward bone. There, okay, so Rosaria is actually still alive here. We might have to even teleport. Yeah, so Leonhard's gone. We're just going to teleport back to Firelink and then back here. So what should happen is that Rosaria is going to die, and we're going to need to pick up the crushed eye orb or black eye orb. Okay, so let's just teleport straight back. If this doesn't work, I will work out what the problem is, and I will show you in the next stream. We'll continue Leonhard's quest. Next stream we'll be going towards Yorm as well. That's very surprising that Rosaria isn't dying here. Okay. We've got to get to the profane capital before she dies, so we can't progress Leonhard's quest until we've gone to profane capital. That's fine. We will continue. We'll continue on then next time to Yorm's. Just before we do, we're going to talk to Yuria again, because that will finish off anything we need to do with the Lord of Hollows ending. Sorry to have to reload that area so many times. I didn't actually realise that you had to get to profane capital before
our Lord in
before completing Leonhard's quest.
Wonderful. Now thou art the true and deserving Lord of Hollows. With the spouse, the strength to claim the fire is thy lordship. I prithee rest
So
the fire
what Yuria wants is for us to take the flame at the kiln of the first flame, and to actually take that into ourselves, as opposed to either leaving it alone or continuing the cycle.
Oh Lord, I prithee, when the moment cometh, to link the fire, wrest it from its mantle. The age of fire was founded by the old gods, sustained by the linking of the fire. But the gods are no more, and the all-powerful fire deserveth a new our Lord of Hollows. It shall be who weareth the true face of mankind. Be safe, I pray.
And Greyrat is back from his travels. He was safe.
And take a good look. They're sure to be of some use.
And cool thing about Greyrat here is he actually brings back some really useful items. So he brings back some Twinkling Titanite and some Titanite scales. And he also brings some Divine Blessings and Hidden Blessings. Now, obviously you have to pay him for those, but there's some really good things, like even the Lothric Knight Greatsword that you can get from him here, which is another really powerful weapon in the game. And you can get Moonlight Arrows, you can get different like Dragon Slayer Great Arrows, Dragon Slayer Lightning Arrows, some good bolts like Lightning Bolts, Fire Arrows, a whole different scheme of things. Pate's armor as well, so if you know Dark Souls 2, and some good shields and things as well. So I'm actually going to grab a Twinkling Titanite, and I might buy some of the stuff a bit later, but I'm just going to upgrade my Irithyll Straight Sword to +4, and then we'll be getting a Titanite slab for it soon, which will get us to +5, which is really good. Also, just give Anri the Giant's Coal, and he'll reminisce that that giant from Dark Souls 1 died, unfortunately.
My thanks. I'll be sure this coal is put to good use. I'll be smithing weapons never afore seen by the likes of ye. It's but a small service to pay my humble respects.
Thank you guys for watching that stream, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was useful in getting through the areas, and I hope to see you on the next stream. Just another note, search up Nadmel74 Gaming on YouTube. You'll be able to see all of my walkthroughs up there. I'm slowly uploading them, so they'll generally be one video behind what's on the Twitch. But hopefully you enjoy those. just going to switch back to my Irithyll straight sword, so we're ready for the next stream. And catch you guys on the next one. Thank you. See you next time.